Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning. Happy Saturday. It's 8 a.m. on this September 21st.
Good morning. Happy weekend. I wish I could tell you we were dealing with some cool, crisp fall air this weekend, but instead summer is going out with a bang.
No.
Yeah, the autumnal equinox is tomorrow, Sarah. Fall in all but name.
I know. I just feel like we've had this second surge of second summer.
Yeah, and it's going to be hot, but there is a potential for a cool front to move through on Monday. So I want to just give you the details here. 96 today for the high temperature in San Antonio, feeling like 100 degrees. Only kind of nuisance throughout the day today, other than the heat index, is going to be a bit of a gusty evening. We'll have wind gusts of up to 25 to 30 miles per hour from the southeast. Tomorrow, autumnal equinox at 7:44 in the morning. It's still going to be warm and humid, though, 94 for the high. So what the heck is the autumnal equinox? Well, as you know, the Earth revolves around the sun, and the Earth is actually tilted on a 23.5-degree angle. Now, during the summer months, the northern hemisphere is tilted toward the sun. That's why we're hotter. But around autumn, the Earth is not tilted away nor toward the sun on the autumnal equinox. It's 7:44 tomorrow morning. And so there's equal amount of daylight and darkness pretty much at all latitudes across the Earth. So that's why it's the autumnal equinox tomorrow. Speaking of autumn, there are some areas that feel like fall across our nation. High temperature of 70 in Pierre, high temperature in the 60s in Billings, Montana. This is that cool front. It's going to try its best to move through areas close to San Antonio by Monday. Looking at the newest data, there is at least hope for some more comfortable weather briefly Monday. I'll have those details coming up. Sarah.
Sarah, thank you. New this morning, San Antonio police say a man was shot in the southeast side parking lot overnight. So police say this happened around 3 this morning on Quick Drive. That's near Pecan Valley Drive and I-37. Police say the victim was with another person at the time of the shooting, but he wasn't hurt. That victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say there's no information yet on a suspect. Also this morning, the San Antonio Police Department is investigating what led up to an East Side shooting last night. An officer on scene told KSAT that an 18-year-old man was shot in the chest once and then transported to a local hospital around 9:30 last night. San Antonio police officers roped off the 2100 block of Burnett Street with crime scene tape. However, authorities also said they were not certain where the shooting happened. The owners of the 2 dogs that killed an elderly man now know their fate. The judge sentenced Abilene Schneider to 15 years in prison and Christian Moreno to 18 years. Since the charge, dangerous dog attack resulting in death, is not considered a serious or violent offense by the state, the couple has to serve at least 25% of their sentence before being eligible for probation. Now that this case is over, the family of Ramon Najera plans to continue with their federal lawsuit against the city. Happening now, the YWCA of San Antonio is getting ready to host a Newcomers resource fair at the San Antonio Food Bank, designed specifically to help our immigrant neighbors. Our Devin Karp is live there as organizers get set up. Good morning, Devin.
Yeah, good morning, Sarah. Now, we're out here. It may be a little humid, it may be a little warm, but that's not stopping over 60 community partners with YWCA from getting ready to welcome 400 residents. Now, the event is going to really kick off at 9 a.m., but as you can see behind me, we've still got plenty of people getting ready to set up and help out some of these people that are going to come here. Now, they say that this is an event specifically geared towards immigrants. They're going to have English and Spanish translators here. They want to support them, their integration into the community with healthcare services, legal consultation, citizenship information, entrepreneurship resources, and food distribution provided by the YWCA's food pantry in partnership with the San Antonio Food Bank. Now, there's going to be a town hall panel featuring speakers from the city of San Antonio, the Mexican Consulate, Welcoming America, and the San Antonio Greater Chamber of Commerce. They say we want to address some of these greater approaches to challenges and opportunities related to immigration in South Texas. Now, this is going to be starting at 9, ending at 1 with more than 60 community partners. It is at the San Antonio Food Bank off of Old Highway 90 West. It's going to feature feature a lot of these different things, from immigrant micro businesses to medical screenings, legal consultations with attorneys, everything that these people could look for. So we've got a lot of getting ready here. I'm going to see if we can talk to some of these organizers coming up here to see exactly how it's going to benefit a lot of immigrant residents within our communities. For now, I'm going to send it back to you, Sarah. Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
Devin, thank you. This morning, we now know the fate of a U.S. soldier known for fleeing into North Korea. At Fort Bliss in El Paso, Private Travis King pled guilty yesterday to several counts, including desertion, disobeying an order, and assault. The U.S. Army says King fled to North Korea in last year while on assignment in South Korea. In 2022, he was accused of pushing and punching a victim at a club in Seoul. Rather than face disciplinary action, he ran across a demilitarized zone while on assignment near the border. At the hearing, the judge allowed King's time already served to count toward his sentence, allowing him to return home. King was also demoted in rank and dishonorably discharged. Well, your iPhone is officially outdated again. People lined up for hours outside the Apple store on 5th Avenue in New York City yesterday to pick up the company's brand new iPhone 16. Models, the watches, the AirPods. Even Apple CEO Tim Cook was there to greet the store's first customers and personally help them set up their new iPhones. The phone gives more people the chance to test a software update that will implant artificial intelligence into its virtual assistant Siri and automate a variety of tedious phone tasks. The free update will be released to all iPhone owners this month. Exactly what we need, another update. 806, 78 degrees, a bit of Hollywood invading parts of San Antonio this weekend, and that means some traffic detours in the downtown area. We'll tell you where Paramount Plus is filming their 1923 series. It's always cool when San Antonio gets a little bit of that Hollywood time in. Very exciting there. Sarah, what is it outside? 80 degrees?
9.
Still 79 degrees. Those clouds sticking around, which is nice because Sarah Spivey says don't get too comfortable because it's going to really heat up later today. But she has some good news for Monday. She'll explain when we come. Time for San Antonio to shine. A reminder, if you're heading to downtown area near Travis Park this weekend, expect some road closures. That's because the Paramount Plus show 1923 is filming right here in San Antonio.
So cool. We have a closer look at the closures on our website, though. You can just scan the QR code on your screen. You'll mostly see impacts on Broadway from East Pecan Street to East Travis Street. And I wonder if, when you take those boat rides at the Riverwalk, every time you go by the Arneson, they always talk about miscongeniality.
Miscongeniality, and then I'm sure they do the Salina Bridge.
Yep, the Salina Bridge. So maybe, it's not going to take them through the Riverwalk, but maybe they'll mention 1923 or whatever.
I wonder if that's going to be a really big, popular series.
That entire series is pretty popular. The Yellowstone and the spinoffs and stuff.
Oh, this is the sequel or the prequel?
It's a spinoff.
Oh.
Yeah.
I liked the first 2 seasons of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little crazy, but
a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, you and I, during our little break, we stepped outside briefly, and we were immediately hit with the wall of humidity out there.
Iced coffee day, not hot.
Yes, exactly. And here's a look. Relative humidity in the 90 percentile for many areas. So very humid outside. And by the way, it's also pretty warm. We really haven't cooled down below 80 degrees too much. It's 78 in San Antonio, 77 in New Braunfels, 74 in Kerrville, and 77 in Eagle Pass. Our producer told me to do these temperatures like a auctioneer. So 74, 74, 74 in Kerrville. That's for you, Hardy. Talking to him right there in my ear. All right, mostly cloudy this morning. We're going to be looking at temperatures at 83, but we are going to see a little bit more sunshine. By noon, it'll be 87. Feeling like 100 degrees this afternoon from about 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's the peak heat of the day. We'll be at 96 for the high. And then winds are going to get a little breezy tonight. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, I want to show you the forecast the forecast heat index this afternoon. Feels like 100 in in Lake, 100 in Seguin, and 102 in Floresville. Here's those winds. So if you have any Saturday night plans, and a lot of people are going to be enjoying some time outdoors, maybe at one of our local high school football games that are going on tonight, know that it is going to be pretty breezy. We're going to see wind gusts of up to 25 to even 30 miles per hour by the end of the evening. So keep that in mind if you have any late night plans. As for our clouds and radar across the nation, it's fairly quiet across the U.S. Not too much going on weather-wise, but that heat high that has been dominating our weather pattern over the last few days and honestly last couple of weeks, it is finally going to get pushed to the east. All because of this trough of low pressure. This trough of low pressure is finally going to be strong enough to help push that heat high to the east. And in fact, it's going to be bringing in some cooler air from the north. So you can see that temperatures for the highs across the Rockies are going to be in the 60s. Now, looking at the latest forecast data, I still think most of this cooler air is going to stay to the north of San Antonio, rather. But tomorrow morning in Texas, a lot of folks are going to be waking up in the 50s in the Panhandle. That front will be moving through by Sunday night, moving through the Dallas-Fort Worth area and San Angelo. And it may just have enough oomph to move through San Antonio. But for the most part, I still think we're going to have a warm day on Monday behind the front. The biggest impact to your day that you'll notice is that the humidity should come down a little bit on Monday and actually be fairly pleasant. So Monday could be a pleasant day with low humidity, although it still will be pretty warm. So looking at your 7-day forecast, 90 for the high on Monday with lower humidity. And then we do have a chance for rain Tuesday through Thursday. Our chances stand at 20 to 30%, so not a major chance for rain, but it's our best chance in a while. We'll be talking about that a little bit more coming up in the next half hour. And then I do have to mention there is something in the Caribbean that could potentially be moving into the Gulf, becoming a tropical storm. I've got the latest information on where that potential system could head coming up in the next half hour. And yeah, we've been talking about auctions a little bit. He was giving me my time cues in my ears like that too. He was like, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute.
I wanted to hear those, Hardy, next time.
But you know what? I was not distracted at all. I'm a professional.
Look at you.
Take that, Hardy. Just kidding.
All right.
Letting you know a little behind the scenes today.
Thank you, Sarah. It's 8:15, 78 degrees. We have some good news regarding an area in San Antonio's south side that's known for people illegally dumping. After we aired a story this week, we'll tell you about that update in just a bit. Plus, former students of South San ISD are returning to their community to teach the next generation how a nonprofit is connecting current students with professionals across the country.
Well, looks like the city cleaned up the dump and mess. And there's a big truck here. Not sure it was these guys. Wow, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it.
So an update to one of our Know My Neighborhood stories from this past week. It appears a street in South San Antonio neighborhood that was known for people illegally dumping their things there has been cleaned up. We got this video from Patrick Garcia, who spoke to Avery Everett about the problem along Quintana Road. And you can see the before and after photos. Illegal dumping on Quintana Road has been a problem for South San residents for years, but we're glad to see the city has cleared out the mess for now. And at the core of the South San community are the schools. Patty Santos tells us about the mission by South San grads who are returning to the community to lift up the next generation.
You are a product of this community. You grew up here? You went to school here?
Yes, actually I did. Down the street about a block or two, Dwight Middle School. I was a student. Actually, it was called South San Junior High at the time. It was the only middle school in South San.
Juan Elias returned to teach at South San ISD after ending his military career. He wishes others would consider returning to their roots.
To me, that's like a responsibility because, I mean, you got your education, you became successful. Why not share that with somebody that needs that little extra support and help?
It's the inspiration behind the nonprofit Building a Purpose, started by Jesus Rendon, a South San ISD 2010 grad. They connect current students with professionals across the country.
Most humans live life by default. And if the default in that community isn't the best, the outcome's not going to be the best.
South San ISD got a C accountability rating by the Texas Education Agency in 2022. With just over 7,000 students, about 81% are considered high risk of dropping out. The district has seen 8 superintendents in 13 years. One of those former superintendents is now a TEA-appointed conservator to oversee the board's actions. But Rendon and his board are solely focused on kids.
I've always believed it doesn't matter what is happening at any layer of politics, from the school board to the president of the United States. It's always left and right. And if you really want to fix that problem, you go work directly with the people you're serving.
What are the challenges in this community?
I think sometimes the students are dealing with a lot of things in their personal lives. The family situation sometimes is not ideal.
A 2019 study found families in this area, zip code 78211, face greater struggles in education, employment, and healthcare than most other impoverished communities. And in a full circle moment, Elias was once Rendon's teacher. They're now partners in pushing their community forward.
We're standing in our new building we're about to move into and start supporting the kids in the Quintana neighborhood.
Using an old post office as a new base, Building a Purpose is bringing people together, connecting students with opportunities and positive voices from around the world.
That was our Patty Santos reporting. It's 8:22 and 78 degrees. Why a Southside nonprofit is seeing a sudden demand for newer used car seats to give away to people that need them most. It's been 2 weeks since 6 children were thrown from a moving car during a crash and still no charges. San Antonio police say those children were not wearing seatbelts when the SUV they were in blew out a tire and lost control. This accident has prompted a demand for car seats. As our Patty Santos tells us, a local nonprofit says they've handed several seats out and have a list of more families waiting.
Those 6 children that were taken to the hospital, that was severe. That was very severe. And the response has been, we need to do something immediately.
Pamela Allen says the incident has increased families' concerns and awareness to make sure their children are properly riding in a vehicle. She says they usually hand out the same number of car seats in a 6-month period. Right now, they are diligently looking for new or used car seats to give away. Their baby pantry in the South Side also provides families with diapers, clothing, and other baby needs.
We need some help. We need to be able to make sure that our children are safe and that we're not breaking any laws. But here's the biggest thing. These car seats are so expensive.
The cost of car seats has increased significantly over the last few years. I checked on Amazon and prices start at around $75 and can go up to a few $100s.
Sarah Spivey and I are expecting, and we've been looking at things like car seats, and they definitely are expensive. It's 8:27, 78 degrees. People living on San Antonio's southwest side are rallying to address the Concepcion Creek drainage project. So why the problem could cost thousands of people their homes? That's coming up next. Plus, why doctors are seeing a huge increase in whooping cough cases across the country. Good morning. It's 8:30 on this Saturday, September 21st.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a good morning so far. You might need that coffee iced, though, this morning because it's going to be a little toasty today. Summer going out with a bang. Fall officially starts tomorrow with the equinox, and it's going to feel every bit like a summer day out there, including this morning. Man, that humidity is hanging thick around San Antonio. 78 degrees, feels like 81. Humidity at 93%. And you can see that today's forecast calls for a high of 96 in San Antonio, feeling like 100. The only thing you'll really notice is that these clouds are going to start to thin out. It'll be a partly cloudy day and then breezy tonight. We're going to see wind gusts of up to 25 miles per hour from the southeast. So a little bit of a breeze this evening, continuing to keep things humid. So all weekend long, it's just going to be toasty and humid with a heat index near 100. Now, we do have a small chance for rain in the middle of the week, our best chance for rain in a while. I'll be detailing that, and I want to start the forecast by talking about a potential tropical system in which we'll be watching the Gulf of Mexico this upcoming week. These details ahead. Sarah.
Sarah, thank you. This morning we have an Amber Alert you should be aware of, so take a look at your screen right now. This is 6-year-old Maximilius Dominguez. He was last seen in Ector County in West Texas around 8:30 last night. He was wearing a blue Toy Story shirt, blue jeans, and black Crocs at the time. Now, authorities are looking for this man on your screen right now, Jose Dominguez, who they believe is responsible for Maximilius's disappearance. He was last seen wearing a tan cap as well as a tan shirt and shorts, and was driving a blue Cadillac CTS with a Texas license plate number that's on your screen there. So if you see Maximilius or Dominguez, call 911 immediately. Happening today, the YWCA is hosting a resource fair aimed at helping migrants in the community connect with resources and nonprofits. Our Devin Karp is live at the San Antonio Food Bank this morning where that event is being held. Good morning, Devin.
Hey, good morning, y'all. Now, we still got some of the humidity out here, a little bit of a breeze, but as you can see behind me, we already are starting to get a line of people getting ready to come in for the 10th annual Newcomers Resource Fair. And here to tell me a little bit more about it is Veronica Saunders with the organization YWCA San Antonio. Good morning, Veronica.
Good morning, Devin. Thank you.
All right, so what do we have going on out here this morning?
Oh, we have a resource fair for the immigrant community, for everybody, not just the immigrant community, but where we can offer all kinds of services. As you know, YWCA mission is to eliminate racism and empower women. And we achieve that goal by removing barriers. You know, the immigrant community doesn't come looking for services. They come to work. 60 to 80 hours a week will be good for them. So it's our job as a community to let them know we have some resources to ease their stay, you know, and to become a real productive citizens. So that's what we're trying to do. So right now we have services in legal, we have health, all kinds of screenings. I invite all the gentlemen that don't like to go to the doctor, come and get your screenings done. We have over 70 community resources from the city, from the county, all our great partnerships, the Mexican consulate, the consulate from El Salvador, and anybody else that can provide that services and ease your stay.
Why do you think it's so important to prioritize immigrant residents here and neighbors in our community?
Like I said, because they are part of our community, they are a great part of our economy, and the more that we can support, the more everybody gains.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Veronica, for talking with me this morning. I appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, so this is going to be starting officially at 9. We are over here at the San Antonio Food Bank off of Old Highway 90 West. It's going to be starting at 9, going on till 1 p.m. We're expecting about 400 people to come through here, but there is no need to register ahead of time. You can come on in and start receiving some of these services. For now, Sarah, I'm going to send it back to y'all. Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
Devin, thank you. Families are fighting to keep their homes on the southwest side. Residents last night rallied together to address the Concepcion Creek drainage project. So the plans that were discussed earlier this year revealed that more than 100 homes could be removed as part of the project. But if nothing is done, the city says it could cost thousands of other homeowners their homes. So the city says it's going back to the drawing board to find alternative options.
I just hope that something comes of this and that they hear our voices and that, you know, they give us a fair chance to fight for our homes.
We're hopeful that there will be alternative plans that would have less impact.
Updated plans are expected to be delivered next summer. This weekend, the race for the White House is in full swing with Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump ramping up their campaign. So yesterday, Vice President Harris visited Georgia and Wisconsin and in Wisconsin. And then in Atlanta, the vice president focused on abortion issues and told attendees to not pay so much attention to polls. Meanwhile, former President Trump will be in North Carolina today. In Georgia, the state election board voted to require hand counting of all ballots. The measure pushed through by allies of former President Trump. This comes as the first ballots have already been cast in the 2024 presidential election, with early in-person voting now underway in Minnesota, South Dakota, and in Virginia. Whooping cough is on the rise in the U.S., and the CDC says protection from the vaccine is waning. So far, there have been around 14,500 reported cases of the disease. Doctors call pertussis this year. That's nearly 5 times higher than the number of cases at the same time last year. The vaccine's effectiveness starts to wear off 2 to 3 years after taking it. 8:37 and 78 degrees. It's pickleball time. How hundreds of people are serving the community pickleball style this weekend. And it is going to be really hot for that pickleball tournament happening on the east side of San Antonio, because Sarah Spivey says we are not done with summer yet. The September sizzle continues. She has a bit of hope come Monday. She'll explain. We're back. This weekend, hundreds of people are serving the community, but when we say serving, well, it's pickleball, so the serve's like this.
Oh, I was thinking.
That's tennis.
Okay,
we're talking about pickleball serving.
The Valero Alamo Bowl is teaming up with the San Antonio Pickleball Association to host the Communicare Classic. Avery Everett, who is an avid pickleballer.
She even wears goggles.
Way to go, girl.
Look at her.
And photojournalist Gavin Nesbitt sat in on some of the matches to show us the deeper message behind it all.
This weekend is amazing. It's the Communicare Classic Pickleball Tournament. This year we have 350 players playing in this 3-day tournament. This is our 3rd annual San Antonio Pickleball Association partnering with Valero Alamo Bowl.
All told, this year we're going to do 180 scholarships. Wow. So every high school and every college in San Antonio will get a Valero Alamo Bowl scholarship.
Net proceeds from this tournament, all the net proceeds go back into the scholarship.
Pickle with a purpose, yeah. Dink for dollars, we'll take it any way you want. But yeah, we love being a part of San Antonio's calendar.
Come out and enjoy a weekend of pickleball.
100% of the proceeds are going right back to scholarships. And then in the spring when we award them, it's going to be something special.
People love pickleball.
It's the new thing.
It's like the new, as a tennis player, like a serious tennis player my whole life, it's hard for me to be like, yay, pickleball, because I'm like, come on, guys.
But at the same time, Sarah, it's easier on...
Right, and I know when I get older, I am older, I'm going to be like, I love pickleball because it's easier on my joints and I don't have to run as much.
It is.
But it's still, I played with my brother this summer, pickleball, and it was hot. Even if you're, not moving as much as you usually do on a tennis court, I was dying.
Oh yeah,
that
absolutely.
Heat on the court,
it's going to be hot
brutal
today too, but I want to start with a look at the tropics. There's an area in the Caribbean that has a good chance of becoming Tropical Storm Helene within the next 7 days and then entering into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, with the latest forecast information that's come in, I'm able to show you that there's a good chance that this potential storm is not going to impact Texas in a major way. There's a couple of solutions that are possible, but anyway, it takes it pretty much from Louisiana all the way out toward Florida as a possibility, so moving to the east of Texas. And that does make sense, especially when you consider climatologically. What I'm showing you here is a look at late September and October landfalls from tropical systems since 1990. Take a look at your screen. I'm sure many of you remember some of these storms, but as you can see, most of them have made landfall pretty much east of Texas, so anywhere from Louisiana out toward Florida. And the reason why that happens more so this time of year is because we have cool fronts and low pressure systems that help to push these farther to the east and not impact the Texas coast. However, I do know we have a lot of interest across the Gulf Coast states from Louisiana all the way out to Florida. And so we are going to keep you posted on any tropical development in the coming days. Want to show you temperatures right now. 74 in Bulverde, 77 in Helotes, 78 in Seguin, 79 in Poteet. Good morning, Utopia at 78 degrees. We'll be warming up to 87 right around noon. And then as we move into the afternoon hours in the 90s, it'll already feel like 100 degrees though, 2-3 o'clock. 96 for the high, which is about 7 degrees hotter than average for this time of year. And then later on tonight, it'll be partly cloudy. So generally everywhere you look, feeling like 100 degrees because of the higher humidity, and even hotter southwest toward areas near Laredo. Now, one thing I will mention is that later on tonight, it is going to get pretty gusty. We'll see wind gusts of up to 20 to 25 miles per hour pretty much after 6 p.m. after sunset. So if you're planning on being out and about for football games, high school football games, or just for a Saturday night out, know that it is going to be pretty breezy in the evening hours. Now, let's take a look at that fall feeling across the northern tier of the United States. Today, those highs are only going to be in the 60s and 70s. This cool front is going to try its very best to make it to San Antonio by Monday. However, I still don't think we're going to see a major drop in temperatures for Monday. At most, we may struggle to get out of the 80s on Monday for a brief period of time, and it could be pleasant with low humidity. But this is one of those weaker early season fronts, not those Arctic cool fronts that allow for us to see a big drop in temperatures. One thing to note, though, is that heat high that has been directly overhead, it's finally going to move out of the way. And a low pressure system will be moving across Texas in the middle of the week. And this actually gives us our best chance for rain in a while in San Antonio. Now, it's our best chance, but it's only at 20 to 30% because it's been so bone dry recently. But again, 20 to 30% Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for a few showers and storms. Hopefully we'll be able to raise those rain chances as we get closer to that date. But for now, just know that there's a small possibility for rain. Highs will only be in the low 90s this week as opposed to the upper 90s of last week. And we just got the pollen count in too. So coming up in the next 10-15 minutes, I'll be showing you that pollen count.
I'm interested to see what that tropical, it's a storm yet or tropical?
It's not even formed yet.
Okay.
But it does
activity.
have a good chance to become a tropical storm. And if it does, it'll get the name of Helene.
It's a pretty name. Yeah. Thanks, Sarah. 8:47 and 78 degrees. South San community is full of history, how people there are maintaining the area's identity through the memories of the people. We'll share that story now. During our latest Know My Neighborhood episode, we featured the South San community that aired this week.
As Myra Arthur explains, it's an area that's full of history, and it used to be its own little city separate from San Antonio.
I have lived here 80 years.
Born and raised here in South San.
We're 5 generations here.
What was it like growing up in the South San neighborhood?
Oh, it was easy. It's like, everybody knew me.
Easy, easy, easy. Everybody was friendly.
Everybody went to church on Sunday, drank beer on Monday.
You talked about how this area was kind of like a melting pot when you all grew up.
Yes.
There were a lot of farmers in South San, and most of them were Belgian.
I mean, it was Germans, Polish. Everybody was here, and there was no issues about race or anything like that.
And there was a trolley.
Yes.
At one point, right?
At one point, yeah.
It was just like a little town. And it was a little town because that's what it was called. It was called South San Antonio.
What was the connection between your neighborhood and Kelly Air Force Base?
Okay, Kelly, of course, was a big one.
Oh, my God.
I retired from Kelly.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
What year?
1999, when they shut it down.
Right after World War II started, there was not enough housing for all the Air Force. So they built a tent city. And I never forget going out there, hundreds of tents, just all up and down that hill.
Do you all remember or remember hearing about the plane crash?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I remember.
Yeah. What do you remember about it?
I remember everybody was like panicking and trying to run over there. And
this is 51. And the planes, man, they're taking off from Kelly one right after another. And All of a sudden we hear kaboom. God damn, what the hell was that? So we saw this ball of smoke and fire come up over there by the old high school. It came down right there in the middle of the street.
Why did it crash?
Engine failure.
What was it like when Kelly closed?
You know, you just adjusted to it. It closed, and what could you do? A lot of people moved away because they need to work.
You know, there's a history too, a sad and a bad. I was one of the 12 people that sued the government, that sued Kelly for the contamination of the property. I think it was 2,800 properties. That dirt ended up having chemicals. A lot of people got sick.
What was the outcome?
Well, they gave everybody monies, but it was only like the value of your property at that time. And mine was 1,000. Well, if this happened in the north side, you know, they would have been on it right away.
So it does seem like there is such a multi-generational tie in this neighborhood. I mean, families seem to stay here. Would you say that's right?
I would say so.
You do?
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Once a Southsider, always a Southsider.
And here's some interesting trivia for you. What you know as Academy Sports and Outdoors, the store actually started in South San. So cool. The very first one was located at the VFW Post 8397. That's just off of South Cross. So cool. 854, 78 degrees. Let's take a look outside with TransGuide. That's 1604. John Peace, no issues there. 221 1,000 Oaks. Things going pretty smooth. We had an incident earlier on 10 and Woodlawn, but I believe it's cleared up. If anything else pops up throughout the morning, we will let you know. We'll be right back.
Educator of the Month, brought to you by First Mark Credit Union.
We are continuing to accept nominations for our Educator of the Month contest. Each month, one special educator will be recognized for the work he or she does and will receive a $500 Visa gift card from First Smart Credit Union. Just scan that QR code on your screen to nominate your favorite teacher, educator for a chance to win. We love our teachers and educators. They do so much for our community. 857, 80 degrees. You might have heard about the 1923 filming in San Antonio this week. That's a spin-off series from the hit show Yellowstone starring Kevin Costner. So we're going to hear from a filmmaker who decided to ditch Hollywood for his South Texas roots, but still gets to chase that dream. That's coming up next. And the San Antonio Philharmonic just received funding for the second year in a row, but why a former board member is suing the nonprofit when we come back.